Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to Spirit Speakeasy. I'm Joy Giovanni, Joyful Medium. I'm a working psychic medium, energy healer, and spiritual gifts mentor. This podcast is like a seat at the table in a secret club, but with mediums, mystics, and the spiritual luminaries of our time. So come behind the velvet ropes with me and see inside my world as I chat insider style with profoundly gifted souls. We go deep, share juicy stories, laugh a lot, and it wouldn't be a speakeasy without great insider secrets and tips. You might even learn that you have some gifts of your own. So step inside the Spirit Speakeasy. Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome back or welcome in for another episode of Spirit Speakeasy. Today, we will be continuing with our Healing with the Angelic Realm series, and you are going to be meeting one of the lesser known archangels who is actually one of my personal favorites, Ariel. So we're going to dive in and talk all about that, but I just want to make a couple quick announcements or check out on a couple things with you all. So I know some of you listen to the audio version and some of you watch the video versions of these. I have made some small tweaks with my lighting setup, so I'm not sure if it's better or worse yet, but often when something changes, you guys ask a lot of questions. So I like to try to let you know up front. We did miss the release of an episode last week, and as you know, sometimes life happens, but also I've had some strange allergy stuff going on with my eyes. So that's been a little distracting. Everything's fine. But just wanted to kind of check in on those things with you. I don't like to leave you guys hanging with questions. And let's dive in without any further ado to this Archangel Ariel episode. There is so much to get to in this episode. I want to just give you a quick overview of what we are going to talk about. And as always, we are going to do a very special exercise so you can start experiencing working with Archangel Ariel for yourself. In this episode, we are going to talk about not only what Archangel Ariel's name means, but the history of Archangel Ariel in different cultures and belief systems. What is Archangel Ariel known for? What can she help us with? What should we call on and lean on this Archangel for? What are some colors that are associated with Archangel Ariel? Are there any stones or crystals that can support our work with Archangel Ariel? And how might you recognize or feel Archangel Ariel? And so much more in between those lines comes up in these angelic episodes. This is actually the 8th in our series. So if you've missed any of the others and you want to go back, I'll link them all in the show notes. We already worked with Archangel Raphael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Haniel, Archangel Shamuel, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Sandalphon, and Archangel Azrael. Today, we're going to be working with Archangel Ariel. And by no means am I close to done with this angelic series. There really are so many wonderful archangels that we can work with. I have been, we've talked about this over the last couple years of the podcast, but sometimes I struggle a little bit with wanting to address current events or issues going on in our world, but then also wanting to keep this a safe space. And I know myself as a sensitive person, I do like to understand what's going on in current events and in our world. I do have a lot of beliefs and views about things, but I also need things that I can focus on or learn about or work with that are outside of kind of current events realm. So that was my thinking. Plus, I got a really big nudge over and over from Spirit and from the angels. And I even just got some extra validation this morning. I listened to some certain podcasts and one of them was just talking about angels and mentioning angels. And it's just not a normal topic on that show, and some other little signs and synchronicities. And really, as I was writing out this episode, it became so clear to me why this truly is the perfect time for Archangel Ariel. She's one that I have worked with and taught about for many, many years. I just, for some reason, I am guided to the order in which we're working through these archangels, and it just wasn't time yet for her. She's been, on my list the whole time, but it wasn't quite time. And when I was thinking about, oh man, I had one idea that I wanted to talk to you guys about that's going to be on another episode, but I was like, oh, what else can we talk about? I just was at a little bit of a loss for what to share. it can't all be about, for anxious times, even though that's kind of how it feels sometimes, what we need, right? But I also didn't want to be dismissive of what's happening. So you will see, hopefully, throughout this episode, why Archangel Ariel is the perfect companion, friend, guide, angelic supporter for any of us, all of us to be working with right now. And of course, like I said, at the end, I will tell you about an experience that you can have. I think for this episode, I'm going to create 2 separate guided experiences, and you'll be able to access both of them. It's not like it won't be an either or situation. It'll be a this and, just because there are 2 really powerful ways that I know that you all are going to be drawn to working with her. And remember, every month I do offer a free live community healing as of the time I'm recording this and for the last several years. So if you go to my website, joyfulmedium.com, in the events section, it will always show the next at least 1 or 2 sessions. And once you sign up, you're on my VIP list and you get the link for that. And even if you can't attend live, we do have replays. And sometimes I work with these angelic light beings and we bring them in those healing sessions too. I do like to put a little disclaimer. I know some of you have been with the pod for a long time, but I know some of you are new Speakeasy members. And so when it comes to archangels, I like to touch into the history, how different religions might recognize these angels, but I don't believe that angels are limited to religious association per se. I think the angels are available to everyone. Anyone can access them. Anyone has the ability to work with them. They are non-denominational. They don't care if you have a faith or if you don't have a faith, or if you grew up in a different faith, you can still work with them. If the word angel feels prickly for you personally because of a religious experience or just for whatever reason, you can just think of them as divine beings of light. These angels, except for a couple that we've already talked about, have not walked on this plane. So they aren't human beings, they are angelic beings. And really that angelic vibration is just an incredibly high, loving, supportive, pure essence of love vibration. And they just have so much compassion for the human race and for Earth and everything associated with. So I highly recommend working with them. Most of you know, I'm going to take a quick sip here for those of you listening. I don't edit this stuff out for the most part. Sorry. Most of you know that I kind of came into angels before I even came into working with loved ones on the other side. And the angels there was so much there and I could feel that different vibration because it's very different from our human vibration. But even if you feel like you've never felt the archangels, this series hopefully will help you be able to dip your toes in that water or even play with them or just open your mind a little to what this energy could be like and how you might be able to use it in your life, regardless of any belief system. So I always like to mention that because I will talk about the different systems and how Ariel relates. The other bit I always like to just acknowledge is that angels, because they don't have human form, they technically don't have an assigned gender in the way that we understand it. They are neutral, gender neutral. However, for many of us, we do perceive or prefer to work with the angels, kind of identifying them in one gendered form or another. You probably will hear me refer to Archangel Ariel as she. I often feel that feminine energy with Ariel. So I will refer to her as she. If you feel Ariel or if you start to work with Ariel and you feel either more of a neutral, both divine masculine and feminine energies, that is also true. If you feel a more masculine running energy with Ariel, that can also be true. So try to just open your mind past pronouns and all of that because angels just don't have these human bodies. So it's a little different. So let's just get started healing with the angelic realm, experiencing working with Archangel Ariel. And I know some of you have been waiting for this episode, so I hope this is a happy surprise for those of you that love this Archangel as well. What does Archangel Ariel's name mean? You might have noticed if you've been here for a while, many, not all, but many of the Archangels' names end in L, E-L. And that just means God or highest power or most pure divine. So using the name L or the letters EL at the end means of God or of the highest light, of the divine, right? Of source energy, whatever you like to swap in there. If you don't love the word God, you can use a different word that has an equal gravitas, if you will. So the name of Archangel Ariel commonly translates to Lioness of God. And that is because the original Hebrew, where Ari, the name Ari, is the representative name for lion, and El, like we just talked about, is God or divine. So this title reflects the association of Archangel Ariel with this lion energy, this lioness energy, and of God. So lioness of God. And it's funny because for those of you that have ever worked with archangel cards or like angel tarot, for example, or even regular tarot, there is often in the major arcana, the first 21 cards, I think it's the number 8 card is the strength card. And often you'll see a female figure depicted. And certainly if it's an angelic deck, it probably is Archangel Ariel. And she's often pictured standing with a lion representing strength. And that really is the second layer of what this name means. Yes, it means lioness of God, but what does that actually mean? And it really has to do with this representation of strength, of her energy being so intertwined with that of the natural world. Some sources also connect Ariel with protection, particularly over things like animals, nature, the elements like water, earth, air, what's the other one? Fire, and metal if you're 5 element. In various mystical traditions, Ariel is also viewed as an angelic guardian of wildlife and environmental harmony and divine manifestations in the physical world. So this strength and courage and her ability to transmute things of the natural world also make her incredible for manifestation, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But essentially, most people think of her as like the nature protector or the archangel for animals, which is also true. But her name technically means lioness of God. And we think of her with courage, strength, and deep connection and love for all things of this earth, but particularly the animal kingdom. So what is the history of Archangel Ariel? This is deep, and I'm going to go through just some different religious systems just so you can see. You guys know I nerd out on this stuff a little bit, and I always find it so interesting that some of these archangels can be seen across different faith systems. I just think it's really interesting. Archangel Ariel is a little different in this way than those that we've already worked with through this series. She's not as recognized, and her name has been used in some religious texts, but it's not to identify her as an archangel. So let me tell you about what I mean. In the Catholic tradition, archangels are recognized, right? So we know that in Catholicism, they talk about Archangel Michael and Gabriel and Raphael and some others mentioned in the canonical texts, the biblical, like New Testament text. In the Catholic Church, they do not officially acknowledge Ariel as an archangel, which okay. The name Ariel doesn't appear in the scriptures that are recognized by the Catholic Church, and therefore they don't place her in their angelology, which is fine. Now, if we kind of move from that Catholic denomination and kind of broaden it out to broader Christianity, in broader Christian traditions, Ariel is also not commonly recognized as an archangel, which is why I'm so excited to bring her to you guys, those of you that might not know about her, just because she is so wonderful and incredible, but she's lesser known for sure. So again, in the Bible, it's pretty much Michael talked about a lot. Gabriel is, the Annunciation, as we did work with Gabriel already. And there are some what are considered Christian mystical texts and apocryphal writings that Ariel is mentioned, which we're going to talk about next. For instance, there's a Coptic work called Pistis Sophia, and Ariel is described as an angel associated with punishment for the wicked, which is kind of interesting. I'm going to link some sources in the show notes too, so if you guys want to dig deeper into this yourself or to find some like angelologists. So what is this Pistis Sophia? It's a Gnostic text, meaning it's considered to be a sacred text, but it is not included in what we understand as like the King James Bible today. So it's a Gnostic text believed to have been written between the 3rd and 4th century AD. And in this scripture, Jesus imparts esoteric knowledge to his disciples after his resurrection. So it did get excluded from the canonical Bible, the Bible that we understand today, but it's describing a testament or a teaching that Jesus did after his resurrection, where he's talking about the rivers of smoke of Ariel. And scholars interpret this as an allusion or a reference to the fires of Gehenna, which is a metaphorical purification for punishment. I don't know that I resonate personally with. I actually couldn't even find the Pistis Sophia to like really deep dive in to see what exactly that says. And I don't know the translation of rivers of smoke of Ariel to having to do with punishment. Purification, I could see perhaps there is some transition of purification. And we know in spiritual work, smoke purifies, right? It's why people sage their homes or use, smoke purification. So in this context, Ariel is depicted kind of as associated with the judgment or with the purification of souls. If you can find that, let me know, because I'm having a hard time finding the actual text. I found research about the text, but the text itself seems a little elusive to find. The Bible, again, the name Ariel appears in the Hebrew Bible, but just not as an angel. In the book of Isaiah, for example, Ariel is used as a symbolic name for Jerusalem itself. In the book of Ezekiel, the term refers to, quote, an altar hearth inside the temple. And additionally, in 2 Samuel and 1 Chronicles, the term Ariel is used, but the meaning's unclear and has lots of different interpretations. And none of the references depict Ariel as an angelic light being. So I'm not going to go too deep into this because we don't really talk about religion here on this podcast, but I do sometimes question the original translations because, these are oratory traditions passed down through story, at some point documented and written down, and then translated into numerous languages. So I do know think about it, right? We have these amazing apps that do translation for us. And if you've ever communicated or watched a show where people communicate through these translation apps, you see how different the translation can be from what the actual initiator of the conversation is saying. Yeah, sometimes I wish that I spoke all the languages so I could really read all the original texts before translation. In the Jewish tradition, particularly with Kabbalistic mysticism, Ariel is sometimes considered an angel associated with the natural world. The name Ariel, of course, like we said, means lion of God, literally in Hebrew, and is associated with a lion in connection to strength and protection. However, Ariel, again, is not featured prominently in mainstream Judaism or mainstream Jewish texts. Now, you heard me mention it quickly just there, but in Kabbalistic traditions or in the Kabbalah, Ariel is identified as governing the natural world, including elements like earth and water. And Kabbalistic texts often explore the roles of various angels in that divine hierarchy. We've talked about that in that tradition and teaching. There's the tree of life, and there are angels positioned differently. It's not my belief system, and I have not really done the 10,000 hours of study, so I don't want to offend or step on toes, but just know that in the Kabbalistic tradition, Archangel Ariel is noted, is mentioned, and is identified as governing the natural world. And Archangel's association with nature aligns with these mystical interpretations. Archangel Ariel is also not mentioned in Islam or the Quran at all. And in other mystical teachings, she is talked about as a protector of earth and animals. Beyond Gnostic and Kabbalistic texts, various mystical traditions recognize Ariel as the angel of nature. She's believed to oversee natural elements, again, earth, air, water, fire, and is often invoked for matters concerning the elements, but also concerning environmental stewardship, the welfare of animals. And those of us that seek to deepen connection with like nature or to heal the environment, or even if you want to provide some healing or comfort for your own pets at home, Archangel Ariel can be incredible guidance and support, which we are going to talk about when we talk about what she can help you with. But that's essentially the history of Archangel Ariel and where we learn about her. Again, I am going to list in the show notes down there where the sources and resources are some books about angels, just because, like I said, she is one of the lesser talked about angels, but she's so wonderful. So let's talk about what Archangel Ariel is known for, because it seems like she's not known necessarily throughout all the religious systems, but certainly in some traditions and systems. So what actually is Archangel Ariel known for? There are several things, believe it or not. It might sound like, oh, pretty simple, nature, but wait till we start unfolding this and you'll see how powerfully this ties into like everything. So the first thing Archangel Ariel is known for is being a guardian of nature and the environment. Again, she's often referred to as the angel of nature, and she's believed to oversee those natural elements, including earth, water, air, fire, and some mystical and esoteric teachings describe Ariel as a protector of the ecosystem, ensuring balance in nature. Ariel is sometimes invoked for like environmental protection, such as helping with pollution cleanup efforts, climate healing, preserving biodiversity, organic and safe farming, anything to do with that. She is super excited to help be a guardian of nature and protector of the environment. She's also known for being a protector of animals and wildlife. She is really the guardian of all animals, both wild and domesticated. And it doesn't just mean cats and dogs, right? It's horses, it's birds, it's whatever animals we may domesticate, but also all of the wild animals from the depths of the rainforest to the depths of the ocean. Some spiritual practitioners also believe that Ariel works with animal spirits. That can mean, animals that have crossed over. And it can also mean spirit animals. So those animals that come from spirit to communicate with, support human souls, spirit animals. Most of you heard that term. So some people also believe that she helps us communicate with our spirit animals, but also helps to guide lost or endangered species, assist with animal healing. So that could look like animal acupuncture, vets, even just people that want to rescue and heal and help animals in any capacity. And for conservationists, of course, people that are, here we have San Diego Zoo where I live, and they are always doing so much research and conservation to try to, save some of these species that are nearing extinction, to help them breed and then to help reintroduce them into the natural ecosystem. Plus, they do a lot of work to like protect the ecosystem. So just know anytime you are at a zoo who is protecting and loving and doing like conservationist work, Archangel Ariel is present and is helping. Okay, so a third thing that Archangel Ariel is known for is assisting with manifestation and abundance. Oh, that perked your ears right up, huh? Okay, so in metaphysical and New Age teachings, really, we understand the energy of money, of what we trade with, of abundance, as just changing the way that we work with physical elements, right? Money is tangible, or trading goods is tangible. So everything is energy, and then from the energy it manifests into the physical reality. Or because there is an energy, we can become a match for certain opportunities, certain influxes. If you've ever followed Abraham Hicks about the law of attraction, this is all intertwined here. So if Ariel is the archangel that manages, helps with, supports our physical earth, our world, that also means then she would be associated with anything we want to manifest here on this earth plane, bringing our energy, our heart's desire, our true nature of what we want to experience as a soul, and helping that manifest in our lives, which also includes prosperity and abundance. So just know that she really can help with manifestation. Ariel is also believed to help people connect with that divine flow of abundance. Because remember, abundance is, again, an energy, a belief system, especially through things like eco-conscious living and spiritual alignment with nature. Just know that, I don't believe it's like a direct trade where like we have to do something for Archangel Ariel and then she does something for us. But if you are working with her, just know that there will be movement somewhere in your heart or soul to start to consider more eco-friendly versions of stuff, right? Maybe it's that you're wanting to recycle. Maybe it's that you're wanting to use more like reusable cups instead of disposable cups, whatever it is. Just know that if you are working with her, there will, even in the abundance and manifestation, right? There's this energy of how are we wasteful with our abundance? How do we abuse abundance? How could we be better sharing resources? So that's all in there. Also, really, Ariel can be associated with earthly wealth and resources, helping people find not just resources, but like career paths that are divinely supported and inspired because, sometimes we have to do work in the world to create wealth in the way that we usually mean the word wealth. So she can also help guide you or support you in your career, in your work, or even if it's like in a side hustle project that you get inspired to do. Okay, the fourth thing I said, this is a meaty episode. So there's a lot that Ariel does, even though it seems like, well, where is she in all these religious texts? She's really powerful. So the fourth thing that Archangel Ariel is known for has to do with her name again: courage, strength, leadership. Because her name means Lioness of God, this really reflects these core qualities of her having to do with bravery, resilience, leadership. And again, the image of her is so seared in my mind from that strength card of this angelic being standing beside this giant, powerful lion, and it's sitting next to her like a cat in the picture, and they're looking forward into the future over the earth or over the land, basically. So that just is such a pure representation of that like strength and courage and bravery and next steps. She also can be called upon for strength in difficult situations or difficult times. For example, standing up for environmental justice, overcoming fears about our world or the connections that we see happening in our world or disconnections, and also embracing our true calling while we are here on the earth plane, right? So there's lots of ways, this like a little Rubik's Cube, there's lots of ways her energy can be moved and shifted and turned and used in different ways to support us. The fifth way or thing that Archangel Ariel is known for is healing with natural elements. So she often, because she's earth-based in her activity and in the way that what she supports, really we can think about these healing practices. And some of it is energy healing because it's bringing the energy from the unseen world into the physical world, whether it's, to work on the environment or heal the earth or heal one another or heal our pets. But this also expands to things like herbal medicine and supplements. And what's funny? I think a lot of people know this now, but many years ago when I had primarily like a wellness and Reiki and massage therapy practice, I had several clients that were pretty advanced scientists in biotech. And one of them this is like forever ago, was explaining to me that most medical compounds, like most drug medicines that we have that are chemically engineered, are derived from plant compounds initially. So she really it's not just natural medicine that she can help and support with. It's even using these elements and plants and things we have in nature and how they can inspire a scientist to take that chemical compound and then move it into a different form of drug that can, like, I don't know, help with cancer or whatever the illness might be. So not just natural medicine, but also natural medicine. Energy healing, of course, working with sacred sites. So, some people like to travel to sites that are more spiritual. You guys, most of you know, several years back, I got to see Stonehenge. So sites that we think of as spiritual, whether like in there's lots of natural spiritual sites, but also just creating sacred space in nature. So if you're someone that likes to get out into nature, whether that's a park in the middle of a big city like Central Park, or whether it's getting to hike out into the middle of nowhere, really just knowing that we can create sacred space in nature anywhere. And Archangel Ariel supports that for sure. She can also amplify healing energy when people spend time outdoors or working with, again, crystals are natural elements that she can help charge, that she can help infuse, that she can help you work with. Same with like water therapy, or in some rituals and traditions, you might use like a bowl of water for healing or manifestation, for example. If you've ever seen any of those videos on YouTube that are like, dissolve your name in a bowl of water, that's an earth element, water. Even fire ceremonies. So if you've ever seen like someone do like a new moon ceremony or a full moon ceremony where there's fire and you like burn your intentions, that's Archangel Ariel again. It would be involved in that because it's using elements of the earth to create healing or manifestation or some version of that. So those are the 5 main topics that she's known for. And you'll see as we go through these next couple sections, there is a lot of overlap because, of course, what she's known for is also what she can help us with and what we can call on her for. But I will break them down a little differently. So hopefully you'll really start to like expand your mind of like, oh my gosh, that too. Or like I could help heal the earth with her. I could call her in to do a healing with me for my pets or for my abundance or my bank account, whatever it is. Okay, so what can Archangel Ariel help us with? She helps us with environmental healing and nature protection, like we talked about, animal wellness, healing, animal care, animal rescue, animal advocacy, anything to do with animals. And I keep seeing pictures in my mind of it's such a sad commercial, but everybody knows what it is. It's that Sarah McLachlan song, "In the Arms of the Angels," and it's like the pet rescue. Because angels help with pets and with rescue pets. So even if maybe you can't rescue a pet yourself, you could perhaps volunteer. You could perhaps bring a bag of dog food or blankets, old blankets, to an animal shelter. That really is still an offering to Archangel Ariel, because what you do for animals, for the earth, for the environment, or anyone that lives here is also for her. So she can also help us with manifestation of abundance and prosperity. Again, it's those things which we desire, and how do we bring them forward in our physical world? How do we manifest them? How do we draw them to us? How do we start to become in collaboration and cooperation with the energy of money? For example, Archangel Ariel can support our work with that. She can also help us with leadership. Now, if you watch the weekly readings that come out, there have been some lately, and there will be some to come, that are really letting us know that we each are being called to be leaders in our own little worlds, in our own little ways, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your own life, whether it is in the friends that you have or the people you support in a work capacity or even in a volunteer capacity. We are, those of us that are sensitive, that have spiritual gifts that we know about. Everyone has spiritual gifts. Some people don't know about them yet. We are called into leadership. And if you are someone who feels like, I don't know how to lead my way out of a paper bag, Joy, let alone like leading someone else or being a light, Archangel Ariel can help you with that and support you with that in a way that feels genuine and true to you. What I can't promise is that it'll always be inside our comfort zone, because often we are called to things that are outside of our comfort zone. And the truth is, all of our growth and greatness is outside of the comfort zone, right? She also can help when we're trying to step into leadership with things like courage and confidence and overcoming fear. So, for example, if you realize that you had a fear about, it's so hard for me to not, I don't mean this in a political way, but it's just part of what's happening right now. If you have some fear about the threat of drilling our preserved lands in the United States, for example, or if you have a fear about all of the destruction happening in the rainforest in like South America, or Brazil specifically, Archangel Ariel can help you send prayer, send healing, can help you overcome those fears, can help you become grounded in what you can do. And I feel like I'm going to say this so many ways over the next like several months, but one of the ways that we can be activists or active is the power of the mighty dollar, or the mighty peso, or the mighty yen, or the mighty lira, or whatever you've got bought. Why can't I think of it what it is in the UK? Pounds, money, where we put our dollars, companies that we support, things that we purchase. If those things by their production are damaging the earth, and there is a more eco-conscious option, or a company that we could buy from that is, less like damaging to the earth, for example, or that is doing some sort of environmental preservation, where we put our abundance matters too. So I'm not going to harp on that too long, but you get what I'm saying. So she can also help with that. And if you're wanting clarity, when you sit down to do your research, maybe you've got a big purchase to make and you want to know, I want to buy from a company that has like a good heart or good morals. Sit down and call in Archangel Ariel and say, like, help me do this research, and she will. So also, she can help us with not only overcoming fear, which is what I was talking about, healing through nature, through energy work, through holistic wellness. So not only healing that we can offer as a sensitive, but receiving healing. If there's something that you need to receive healing about, she can also help to facilitate that. Perhaps you take a natural supplement, for example, and you're wanting her to really help infuse her angelic light and wisdom, and the wisdom of those plants that are in that natural supplement for you. You can kind of do a little blessing on your supplements, and she can support you with that. Also, she can support anything that is like environmental or social activism. So whether that looks like, you being an activist in a big public way, whether it looks like you supporting other activism, whether it looks like we were talking about, you choosing how you spend your actual money, all of that matters. And all of that involves the concern of Archangel Ariel. She also can help us strengthen our intuition and connect with nature spirits, which I know is really woo-woo for some, but if you're someone who's ever felt like, I want to hug this tree, or like a tree has a personality, or like a plant in your house has a personality, which I believe they do, then Archangel Ariel can help and support with that. Okay, so those are just some of the things she can help with, some of the things that she's known for. Next, let's dive into what should we call on or lean into Archangel Ariel for. Again, there's a long list. It's intertwining with what we've already talked about, because it is, some of the same things. But we can call on Archangel Ariel for example, when you feel like you need energy protection, when you realize there is a lot of brewing out here and I want to just come back into myself and cocoon myself in my own energy or in angelic energy, she can help with that type of protection. We can call on her for healing, again, giving or receiving. And healing doesn't just mean as a trained energy healer, but even prayers or good thoughts or wishing someone well counts as sending the energy of love and healing, and she can help facilitate that. Whether it's for a person or a situation or pets or wildlife in general, animals in distress. I know in California, we are in our wildfire season and we've had lots of them already. So places that there are natural disasters like that, like fire, weather situations, hurricanes and floods and storms, she can help with that. And you can also work with her to help make some of those things more manageable where they strike, I guess is what I want to say. She can also help, or we can call on Archangel Ariel for healing the earth and environmental protections, working towards positive change for the planet and for humanity. Yeah, so she can help with all of that as well. Also, sustainability. So if you're, like I said, trying to find more sustainable products or trying to do things in a more sustainable way, she can support that work. You can call on her for climate activism, climate change, working with nature. You can lean into her wisdom when you're feeling like you want to fight for justice or fight for the underdog, or ethics of the way we treat one another, of the way we treat our planet, of the way we treat our animals. Even when we think about fighting for products to not be tested on animals, for example, that counts. So there's so much under this umbrella we can lean into for her. Yeah, ethics and sustainability. And I know that there's a lot happening with sustainability, not just in the products that we use, but in the way that they are sourced, in the way that they are transported, in the labor used to create some of these products, for example. So we can really call on her to support with all of that. Hopefully you're starting to see why this is such a perfect time for her, because there's so much upheaval with all of this happening in our world right now. And even just sitting with her and tuning into her energy for support, for comfort, for, again, strength, peace, groundedness with all of the things bubbling up can be really helpful. We can call on or lean into her for protecting and healing animals. For example, this might sound a little woo, but just go with me. During the fires, there was a few of us that were calling on her to help animals to escape homes, for example, to help them, support them to find ways out, to help the natural wildlife in those areas be able to move in a quick way to somewhere else. So you can call on her for things like that, or for assistance with things like that. Overcoming fear and stepping into courage. And that really is anywhere in our lives, whether it's for like a bigger mission or whether it's just to help a single person, we can call on her for strength and courage. Again, manifesting abundance, financial stability, money's just an energy, abundance is just an energy. But if she works with things of this natural world, that is part of manifestation. We can also work with her for things like, this won't resonate with all of you, but for some of you it will, things like dream work and earth magic and working with crystals and working with herbs, not in a way that we're going to ingest them, but like the burning of herbs and incenses, for example, doing divination with water, harnessing like elemental healing, for example. So that that vein of woo-woo work can all be supported by her. Again, supporting things like meditation practices, especially those that align with nature. If you're moving your awareness into a garden space or a forest space, or if you sit outside when you meditate, or if you hold a stone when you meditate, just know Archangel Ariel's already present. Harnessing natural energy for healing and wellness like Reiki and sound healing, whether you're in meditation or not. Eco-conscious living, for example. Supporting activism and global change, which is desperately needed right now. Ariel empowers leaders and activists and those advocating for a better world. And sometimes advocating for a better world means advocating for our fellow human people in the world too. And we're all called in our own way, right? It doesn't, maybe for some people it's being out there with a megaphone, and maybe for other people it looks different. So however it looks for you, she can help not only inspire you, not only connect you, but also give you courage and strength and inspiration, which is pretty cool if you really get to know her. She can also help with enhancing intuition, connecting with, again, nature spirits or the spirit of nature. And this can even tip into like fairies and elves, again, spirit animals, but also the spirit of the wind, the spirit of the forest, the spirit of an individual place. And I know I've worked with some people over the years on this, even the spirit of your home, like your physical dwelling, the spirit of your office, for example. So we can really call on her, lean into her energy for limitless things. It's just using your creativity, using your inspiration, and even just sitting with her and saying like, hey, help me understand how we can work together, what you can help me with. She has just this deep expert wisdom about everything to do with our earth, our nature, our medicine, our animals, and even your beloved animals at home, whether they're still physically with you in the home or whether they are now spirit animals hanging out with you at home. Okay, so those are some of the vast and endless list of things that we can work with her around or call on her for. Let's talk quickly about the colors associated with Archangel Ariel, and then we'll talk about the stones for those of you that are wanting to work with stones and crystals around her. Now, when when I do the color, I'll tell you what the internet says the colors are, and then I'll tell you how I experience the colors. But please know, if you are new or if you haven't heard me say this before, it's okay to just work with Archangel Ariel or any of the archangels with the colors that you receive or perceive them with. It doesn't have to be this list. It doesn't have to be all of them. It doesn't have to be any of them. It's okay to honor what you're receiving. This is just a little bit of a guidepost for you. Okay, the internet says the colors associated with Archangel Ariel are pale pink, golden orange, green, silver, and white. I experience Archangel Ariel with more of like a magenta pink, which is kind of similar to the top I'm wearing, but even a little brighter. It's a color I wear a lot, actually. But it's that deeper, stronger, maybe sometimes even a little bit brighter, energized pink is the way I see it. So that's the pink that I perceive her with, and sometimes tipping into even purple. So I kind of see it more gradient, or like I think now the word is ombre style, where it's like that pink kind of drifting into more of those purples, those higher wisdom purples. And I often also see her with a bit of a green hue or like a green aura around her. And sometimes golden, like rich golden, I guess it's golden orange light, kind of like that morning sun or that golden hour sun. So that's how I experience her. But again, however you experience her, whatever colors you want to work with her with, whether it's one of these that you want to meditate on or lots of them, just play with it and have a good time. The stones and crystals associated with Archangel Ariel, rose quartz is a great one. That is just it's super common. I don't have any within reach where I'm sitting right now. Oh, there's one right behind me in the video. If you're watching the video version, it is that pink stone right to here by my plant. So anyway, rose quartz is wonderful. It's again that pink, but that pink color and energy represents divine feminine love, compassion, harmony. You can also use citrine, which I sometimes have a little tiny citrine right here, but I don't right now. It's kind of citrine is like a golden color, but it sometimes tips into like an orangish or a light yellowish or even a creamy kind of a color. But citrine is about abundance and confidence, joy, empowerment, manifestation, success, personal power, courage, action, leadership, the sun. So you can see why citrine can be associated with her. Green aventurine, which is just a green, sometimes marled with like a darker green or black. It's earth healing, connection to nature, prosperity, new beginnings, nature's abundance, balance, alignment with the natural cycle of things, growth, expansion, but like growing in new ways, right? Think of like springtime. So green adventuring is great. Clear quartz, which is probably one of the most accessible stones. It's just the clear one. It's often thought of as like the all healer or the all covering stone, because you really can use it for anything. Amplification, divine guidance, healing, helping to amplify Ariel's energy in healing and in connection. And also moonstone, which I also don't have nearby, but it's the one that is white looking, kind of creamy, and then it's iridescent, sometimes with a little bit of like rainbow iridescence in there. And that stone actually represents the water element connection. So if you don't want to work with actual water, if you work with moonstone, remember the energy of the moon is that watery, intuitive, deep, still waters run deep kind of an energy. And it's that water element of the earth elements. And Ariel also connects to this because of this divine feminine cycles in nature, the tides, the flow of water energy, particularly helpful for those who want to work with Ariel through like water-based rituals or like in place of water-based rituals, but in that divine feminine powerful energy. Because just think of that one element alone, water. Water can be powerful enough to erode stones and create landslides, but can also be still and nourishing and nurturing. It can be to the depths of the ocean, right? It can come in big waves. It can come in tiny droplets. It can be soft for purification. I mean, water is totally mutable and can be a million things. It also takes on energy. We've talked about before that experiment. Oh, I can't remember his name right now, but I believe it's a Japanese scientist where he spoke words, either harsh words or loving words, into the water to see the way the ice crystals form differently based on the energy of those emotions. So it's pretty fantastic. So moonstone is great to connect with Archangel Ariel as well. How might you feel or recognize Archangel Ariel? You might be someone who just feels a deep connection to nature or to animals. That is the presence of Ariel with you in those moments. You might feel a surge of confidence or courage or motivation. It might feel like it comes out of nowhere or in the perfect timing. That can be support from her. You might see colors, whether it's in a mystical way, right? Or whether it's just you're noticing a lot of like pink and green, pink and green. That could be hellos from her in the world around you. You could even receive messages through animals or spirit animals or nature signs or people around you. Particularly kids are great at giving messages, but also those synchronicities, because things that are on our physical plane she can work with. So she can get messages through the radio, through other people talking to you, all the ways that you could get a message. She can help with that. She can also help with dreams or intuition. I know some people like the word downloads, about like taking action on things, for example. You might feel her as an unexpected flow of abundance or opportunity or direction, like being really inspired to pursue a certain direction where you weren't before. You might feel a warm, empowering presence guiding you forward, for example. That can be Archangel Ariel. But most of the time, the angelic energies feel very subtle, even though they are very powerful and incredibly loving. Archangels never have any judgment of us because they just have so much compassion and deep understanding for our humanness and our imperfection, to be quite honest. So don't, if you're feeling like, oh, I wonder if she's judging me, that's your human thoughts, and just kind of see if you can give that over to her, let that go, or see what you're feeling like someone might judge you about and see if you can work to shift those energies. Maybe there's a guilt inside you're feeling because you're, I don't know, being wasteful with a resource, for example. So it'd be more just being stirred in that emotion of what you already know to be true, because angels feel positive and loving and uplifting and supportive, but powerful at the same time. It's such an interesting blend of gentle power. So I'm really excited to do some experiences with you, and that's something that we're gonna work on. But I want to talk a little bit more about how you might recognize or work with Archangel Ariel in case you don't want to go ahead and do those experiences. I'll link the experiences in the show notes for you, and I'll probably make some separate posts and maybe send out an email about it. So if you're not already on my email list, make sure you go to joyfulmedium.com. You can sign up for the free sign mini course that's on my homepage. And if you're listening to this at a much later time, there's probably some free gift on my homepage that if you sign up for, you'll get on the email list. I'm going to create 2 experiences. One is going to be around healing pets or wildlife or nature, because I know a lot of you would love to just experience a little healing for your own pets or pets that you love that maybe don't live at your house. That's okay too. Or if you don't have a relationship with pets, it could be wild animals in nature, or the earth itself. So we'll do one experience like that I will link below. And then I'm going to do another guided experience with working with Archangel Ariel that is about abundance and manifestation, because I just know everyone is going to want that and will really love that. Who doesn't want to manifest and create some abundance and see if we can feel that flow a little bit this year, right? I have a feeling we'll feel it much more in 2026, but we can still have the experience and work the energy in this year. One of the ways that you might feel and recognize Archangel Ariel through this strong connection to nature, you might just start feeling drawn to spending more time outdoors if you're in a season where that can happen. But maybe it's even like you feel like, oh, you know what, while I'm working today, I want to have this YouTube on the background of like this nature scene. It can be that, for example. But if you're somewhere where the weather allows, you might just start feeling a little bit of a call to like walk outdoors. I forgot to mention this, but when we're talking about crystals and stones, you really can use just a plain stone or rock from outside to work with Archangel Ariel. I mean, rinse it off if you want, or wash it with some nice soap, like if you want to, but because she is so just central and connected to everything of the earth, you could use any rock that comes from the earth will do. So in a pinch, just use whatever you find. Any little pebble out there will do. Okay, just want to make sure I threw that in there. So you might just feel this energy of peace or like deep belonging in forests or near water. For some people, especially here on the West Coast, it's like getting close to the ocean or connected with like the sand on the shore, right? Maybe it's garden space for you, but you might just start feeling the nudge, the urge a little bit more to be called out into those spaces. That's a call from Archangel Ariel. You don't have to follow it, meaning we still have free will to be like, oh, I don't feel like going outside today, or I'll do that later, or, you know, maybe I'll make time another time. And that's okay also, but just know that you have the ability to dismiss it if you want. Nature also might seem to be more vibrant or more alive if you get still in it. Even if it's a plain park, right? If you get very still, then you might start to see, you know, a butterfly floating around, or you might start to watch the bees and the flowers, and just really seeing all of the aliveness of that natural place. When you get still and are a little more connected, you might notice animals acting more friendly around you, or feeling like just more of a deep sense of oneness with the earth, with the ocean, for example. Nature is differently connected to all of us. So whatever your version of it is, it's just that stirring. You might also suddenly feel inspired to take action on like an environmental cause, or experience like a really heart-centered desire to help animals or to help the planet. And again, maybe you can't adopt an animal right now. Maybe that's not what it looks like for you, but maybe it's a donation, or maybe it's being willing to pet sit someone else's animal, or take them for a walk, or give them a little bit of extra love, right? Maybe it's sending a little healing to someone else's animal. Another way that you might experience her that's a little more specific is just kind of a sense of like warm, courageous energy. Think of like in the Wizard of Oz, like the lion, right? The cowardly lion who needs his courage. That's sort of what she can help us with. Ariel's presence often brings like a surge of confidence or inner strength, or like a quick determination to spring into action. And sometimes it's in a way that kind of comes in out of left field, where we weren't expecting to step into a leadership role or step into defending someone who's the underdog in the situation, for example. You might feel less afraid or more empowered, or suddenly have motivation to like move forward on something, an area of your life, a plan, a thought. So sometimes it comes in as like a slow wind of motivation. If you've been really doubting yourself, Ariel may send intuitive nudges or like a push to stand in your personal power, or even breadcrumbs of like synchronistic things that are coming across your email or you're hearing in podcasts or you're seeing on TV or people are mentioning to you in the world. Maybe you're at the grocery store and you see it on a magazine cover about like getting into your personal power or taking a stand for yourself. That's can be nudges. With the colors, how we're talking about you might feel or see her in the colors. It could even be colors around you in the world, like I was saying, where maybe just all of a sudden you keep noticing like a pink and green together, for example, and you associate those colors with Ariel. And it's like, oh, hello, Ariel, I see you. Thanks for saying hi. Do you know what I mean? They might appear in meditation, like in your mind's eye. You might imagine them. You might see them in unexpected places. You might like be like me, you can't quite see it, but right off camera here is a pen cup with like lots of colored pens in there. You might have colored pens or pencils and feel inspired to just doodle, and you notice you're really wanting to like doodle with those colors or paint with those colors, for example. So they can come in lots of ways. And encounters with like animals or signs from nature, because Ariel is so deeply connected to wildlife and animals, when she's near you, you might experience like sudden encounters with animals in a weird way. Maybe you find that birds are seeming louder or closer to you, or you're just more aware of them. Maybe you live somewhere where there's deer and a little doe, a little tiny female deer comes out and is just looking at you and having stillness and having trust. So it can be little animal experiences like that. It can be butterflies, or maybe you're feeling more drawn to lions or big cats, for example, than you normally would. Or maybe that's even going to be your sign from Archangel Ariel when you need strength or when you're calling on her. Maybe she can show you big cats in the world, or even little cats, whatever you like. Because again, her name is the Lioness of God. So feeling an intuitive bond with an animal, like they're delivering a message, counts too. And maybe it's receiving like nature-based signs, like finding feathers can be a symbol or a sign or a hello. Seeing repeated animal imagery. For a few days at one point, I kept seeing sloths everywhere. And it wasn't just because they were trendy, because it was a little after the trend, but sometimes it'll be like a repeated sign where you're like, why am I seeing this so much? This could just be a hello from Ariel. Or hearing unusual like animal sounds at unusual moments, right? Or maybe like you're in a Zoom meeting and all of a sudden you hear like a dog barking that you've never heard before. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting alert. Like, I wonder what that's about. So there's lots of ways that this can start to come into our awareness and our experience. But I'm just so excited for you to get started working with Archangel Ariel. She really is such a strength, such a protector, such a like, I don't know, such a champion of nature and the animal kingdom. And I know that she really needs us to take action and to use our heart and soul to not only help animals, but the earth. And I think we all know, climate change and global warming and all of that is happening, and there's just so many ways that she can help us and be a part of our awareness, because the truth is we are kind of aware of these things a lot of the time right now. I know the East Coast just got some crazy storms and like snowed over as well, and there's always things happening, right? So as these things are more in our awareness, just know you can call on her, you can work with her, you can lean on her, and make sure that you check the show notes so that you can get these Archangel experiences. I've started doing them separate from the episodes. Some of the episodes have the Archangel experience right in the episode, but I got a lot of requests for having like a standalone meditation. So that's what I've started creating for those. So watch for them. They'll be in the show notes, but there'll also be posts about them, and they'll get sent out to my email list as well. And again, we'll do one for healing either pets or wild animals or nature, and we'll do one for abundance and manifestation. So you can really play and get in there and start working with her energy. But I invite you to just start calling her in, start saying hello to her, start, whether it's morning or whatever time of day, Archangel Ariel, I want to get to know you. Start showing me the sign of the lion or big cats, or start saying hello to me with pinks and greens, or start to help me feel your strength, your courage, your presence, right? Even that is enough. Just giving her permission, invoking her in that way. So hopefully this has been a little eye-opening. Hopefully you can see why I do feel like this is the perfect time for her to come in and work with all of us, and how we all could be useful right now in this way. And hopefully it's giving you something else to focus your energy and awareness to with everything else that's going on. So let me know how you like this episode. Are you still liking the Archangel series? It seems like everyone is. And again, I've still got a whole list of them that we will get to over time. Hopefully this, especially with being able to kind of channel this energy for healing, for strength, for compassion, for community connection. I really think, and the healing of the earth. And yeah, I really think this is perfect timing for Archangel Ariel. I hope you've liked this episode. Thank you as always for being here with me. And if you are here till the very end, wherever you're watching this, if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe on YouTube. There's a bell on wherever you're listening to podcasts. There's probably a little circle that says follow. It helps me because you never miss an episode. It helps you because you never miss an episode. And I know that about 75% of you who are listening are not actually subscribed. So I would love it if you would subscribe. That's how you can help me. Big hugs, lots of love. Thank you for being here with me today. And please email me about your experiences with Archangel Ariel. I would love to hear them and maybe even share your story for you on another episode of Spirit Speakeasy. Big hugs. Bye for now from inside Spirit Speakeasy.